Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week. Thought I'd do a quick video here. Many of you have sent us recordings of, talks and meetings and circuit overseer talks, and I appreciate your patience because I'm doing them in order that I received them. And I know a couple of you have called and asked, if the recording was okay. And so far, as far as I know, the recordings are all fine. I just haven't had a chance to get to them, especially since I've been working on quarterlies for our little side business that take a while for me to do because bookkeeping, I've got a talk here, and it is a local needs when they did their blood card or DPA. And it's interesting, first of all, I just want to say is most people don't realize that the DPA is the directive of power of attorney. Now, when you give your agents power of attorney over your health care, they make the decisions if you cannot. They have complete power and control over your health care, at least here in the United States. This is the one from Britain, but same thing. Now in the talk, at one point he's talking about blood, and how Jehovah views it, and that person only, that's their blood. It's not to be given or taken by anybody else, so your blood is unique and that is yours only. That was interesting because we know how they feel about blood. And another thing is when you fill out your DPA, see, this has all of your information, everything, even what medications you're on, any health problems, anything like that. Now, here in the United States, there is a federal law called the HIPAA, the Health Information Privacy Law and Policy. And, I'm sure, Watchtower has all their lawyers this properly to where, they can release all this information and stuff. But I noticed in the talk, the elder says you need to make at least 5 copies. So you give it, to the secretary and, probably your health agents, congregation, your health care, providers. So there's a lot of copies of your personal information that is out there. Now, I know they've probably changed it, and he mentions that they're going to put this in the locked congregation file. Well, that's good that they've changed that, because years ago, our secretary, I think he was, had some congregation files in his van that he carried around with him all the time. Actually had publishers' cards in this box in his van. And it's like, oh yeah, look at some of those. They're irregular. Maybe you can help them. Wow. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is we know that some of these elders are not trustworthy and don't follow their own rules. So, just be careful with your information, and especially now that the UK has, that data protection laws that just went into effect. And, there's similar stuff as far as health care here in the United States. So anyway, enjoy the talk, and thank you so much for the person who sent this to me. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it. And you all have a great day. Bye.
Bottom left corner, it should say 1/16. That indicates January of 2016. This is the most current card from the United States branch. If you have a different date there, your DPA card is outdated and you need to fill out a new one. The UMN on the card, you see that down there near there? That indicates your state of residence, United States, Minnesota. DPA cards vary by state. Your MN DPA card is valid indefinitely and anywhere in the United States and even internationally to serve as a statement of your wishes. This should help all of us understand why recently we as elders have been urging, texting, talking, handing out DPA cards to everyone in our congregation. We've also made a number of announcements asking you to please take care of this important matter. Most have completed the process. That's the good news. Most have. However, some have been putting it off. And as I mentioned a moment ago, some are not accurate. We've been trying to do a better job at checking them for accuracy and completed and so forth. But let's do more of that tonight too, friends. So let's use this local needs part then as a reminder and incentive to get our DPA card completed. We want you, and Jehovah certainly wants you to be obedient and view blood as Jehovah does. Acts 5 or 15:29 instructs us in part, it says, to keep abstaining from blood. Why does Acts word it that way, to keep abstaining from blood? Have you ever thought about that, maybe what that statement means? Well, it's because Jehovah views the life of all living things as being where? In the blood. That's what Leviticus 17:11 says. Each individual blood sustains and thus represents that person's life. Thus, Jehovah views blood as belonging to that person only and not to be given to or taken from anyone else. Let's look closer at our DPA card. Go back to page 1. Start at the top. Number 1 there. Point number 1. Is your full name printed? Is it legible? Number 3. It says initial one of the two choices. Just one of the two. Did you do that or did you just put a check mark there? You need to initial that. It must be initial. Number 4, have you listed your medications, allergies, medical problems? And then notice it says other comments about our wishes. This is an area where we should give special attention to be thorough, and if necessary, in many cases, do some research. Other comments could include more specific direction to our healthcare providers and our healthcare agents as to what we will accept and what we will not accept in our medical treatment. This could include what blood fractions we will accept and not accept, and what procedures we will and will not accept. Keep in mind, though, that these decisions are matters of conscience, for each of us personally to make. Others do not make these decisions for us. However, if we feel we need more information, some help we might say, to make these decisions, we can find more information in our publications, but especially on JW.org. There will find many detailed articles and videos to help us understand medical terminology and procedures so that we can make informed and prayerful decisions ahead of time. So Aman's going to give us a little example here on the monitors of what we found on JW.org by just putting in the search box there, blood. And don't be overwhelmed. There was over 1,000 things that came up. But there's one page. I got a hard copy here. One of the ones that caught my attention was transfusion alternative strategies, simple, safe, effective. You can scroll through that. Another one was blood fractions and surgical procedures. I'm just mentioning a few here. How blood can save your life. You can see some there. So we're just giving you a little example. So find the ones that would answer, the titles should help you decide which ones will answer your questions. Okay, back to our cards. Page 2 now. Turn over to page 2. Point number 8, before you sign a card, it's important that legal formalities be followed closely. The statement of witnesses, you see there, that there, it gives specifics about who should watch you sign your card, so don't sign it in advance. Be sure to ask your signers to sign their names clearly so others will know who they are. Notice too, they should put the date next to their names and then their address under their names. Now, below the area, we see the dashed line there, below that, regarding our healthcare agent and alternate healthcare agent. We should select individuals who we are certain will adhere to our wishes. Ask yourself, are they able to speak up with confidence and boldness when necessary to express your wishes to anyone who may try to impose their will on you? Obviously, you should talk to those two agents ahead of time. Make sure they agree to accepting this responsibility. Also, make sure their contact information is up to date so they can be quickly reached. Now, before folding the card, you should make good quality copies on a single-sided 8.5 by 11 paper. Would you like to know how many copies to make? The number might surprise you. First of all, make a copy to keep at your home where family members or others that live with you can find it. Make a copy for your health care agent. Make another copy for your alternate health care agent. Make as many copies as you need for your health care providers, which obviously would also include your primary doctor. Last, and very important, the branch has requested that you make a copy and give it to the congregation secretary, myself. I will then put it in the locked file in the elder room where they are available to all the elders when a need arises to help you. So you will be making at least 5 copies, likely more, depending on how many healthcare providers you think should have one. Are you done yet? No, not quite. Here's the last thing you should do. The original DPA card, not a copy, should be kept on your person at all times. You should fold it in such a manner so that the no blood portion, you see it there in red, is clearly displayed on the front. Now, if you made any changes during this part, it's okay. Or if you made any in the near future, any time in the future, you should fill out a new DPA card and repeat the entire process that we just talked about, copies included. Over time, think about it realistically, friends. Over time, we will have to make changes to our medications, allergies, medical problems, our wishes, our health care agents, addresses, phone numbers. Realistically, these things will change over time. We know that. So let's not put it off to another day. Let's show Jehovah that we respect his view of our blood and the blood of others by keeping our DPA card accurate and up to date. Now, for unbaptized publishers, and we have some unbaptized publishers in our congregation, you don't get a DPA card. But don't worry, you can adapt the language of a DPA card to write out healthcare instructions in your own words for yourself and your children. Speaking of children, unbaptized children of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we have them, of course, in our congregation. There's also an identity card with a date of 3/99. That would be March of 1999 for unbaptized children of Jehovah's Witnesses. Parents should ensure that a card for each minor child is properly filled out and signed, and that the child carries it at appropriate times. Here's our concluding spiritual, hopefully motivating thought to you, friends, a scriptural thought. The wise man Solomon said, "The shrewd one sees the danger and conceals himself, but the inexperienced keep right on going and suffer the consequences." Friends, emergencies can happen at any time. any place. We know that. Therefore, let's be like that shrewd person who does not put off completing our DPA card.